Now this is a story all about how a kid called Trey's life was flipped upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just listen real good. I'll tell you how he became a prince of a town called Inglewood.
You're a prince, you know that? You're a prince, I'm the king.
In South California, born and raised, in the hood was where he spent most of his days. Chilling out, smashing and kicking some balls, mouthing off the adults, acting up the fool. When a couple of pricks were up in the way, so he gave him a taste and he punched them in the face. He got in one little fight and his mum got scared and said, "You move with Lawrence Fishburne," and I really do not care.
Boyz n the Hood is a 1991 gangster crime film directed by John Singleton in pretty much his only huge success. Not only featuring the on-screen movie debut of hip-hop icon Ice Cube as well as Morris Chestnut, but it features Cuba Gooding Jr. in a mind-blowing performance, Lawrence Fishburne, who's always wonderful, and a story that really set the boundary when it came to portraying African-American culture in filmmaking or even showing life in the hood in general. If not for this movie, there would not have been an 8 Mile or a Get Rich or Die Trying. Director John Singleton wrote the screenplay semi-biographically as he grew up in South Central Los Angeles. Shockingly, Columbia Pictures wanted somebody else to direct. Singleton's response was simply, "Hell no, I'm not going to let somebody else from Idaho or Encino direct a movie about living in South Central Los Angeles. They can't come in here and cast it and go through the rewrites and know exactly what aesthetics are unique to this film." So after having his son move in with him, Fishburne now has the duty of teaching him responsibility. We skip 7 years later and I really have to pull the trigger here. Now, how old do you think Cuba Gooding Jr. is supposed to be?
Well, I looked into it. 16. Okay.
Look, this is a great movie, but this is just something I cannot ignore. These kids are supposed to turn into these guys in just 7 years? So, Trey was originally played by Daisy Arnaz-Hines II, who was 9 at the time. 7 years later, and he's played by 23-year-old Cuba Gooding Jr. None of these actors are viable to be playing the kids just 7 years later. And of course, Lawrence Fishburne hasn't aged a bit as his father. Why? Because in real life, he was only 6.5 years older than Cuba Gooding Jr. Anyway, Trey's friends consist of Doughboy, played by Ice Cube.
And just how long do you think it's gonna be before Ice Cube says those 2 words that he adores so much?
Domino, motherfuckers.
Never disappoints.
Doughboy's brother Ricky, played by Morris Chestnut, but the main focus is Cuba Gooding Jr. as Trey. He's clearly the outcast and distances himself from the violent side of things until his friend Ricky is brutally shot down. He seeks revenge until his dad talks him down, but he sneaks out anyway before changing his mind once again. Ice Cube follows through and avenges his brother's death, admitting that he knows his time is near, which is evident. Ricky himself seems to amend his past as a thug and applies for college. We don't find out until after his death that he actually passed his SATs and would have been accepted. For the record, this movie, like many others, don't call them SATs, they call them the SAT test.
Which annoys me, because SAT stands for Scholastic Aptitude Test, which means they're saying he took his Scholastic Aptitude Test. That's like saying for your FYI.
Lawrence Fishburne and Cuba Gooding Jr. had great chemistry, and the relationship as father and son is truly beautiful. You can really sense the connection, making this scene that more heartbreaking when he talks him down. This performance is truly incredible. Where the hell was his Oscar nomination? Ice Cube was Singleton's first choice as Doughboy. He approached him at a concert, but the rapper was a little reluctant to pursue acting. Thank God he changed his mind. The filmmaker even wanted members of the rap group, the NWA, to play his gang. But, well, a little beef you might have heard about took place, making it rather difficult. Will Smith was considered for the role of Trey, but turned it down due to his Fresh Prince schedule, but as great as Smith is, I just can't picture anybody nailing this role better than Gooding. Speaking of which, what is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s secret? He looks the same age here in 1991 than he does in Rat Race in 2003.
The dude just stays 16 forever.
Eddie Murphy was also considered for the role of his father, but ultimately didn't get it. To maintain a sense of realism, the director didn't even inform the actors when gunshots were going to sound, which is a really clever way to keep their reactions genuine. The movie, despite being a gangster crime film, really hits home with deep and intense and well thought out messages.
I know every time you turn on the TV, that's what you see. Black people selling the rock, pushing the rock, pushing the rock. Yeah, I know. But that wasn't a problem as long as it was here. Wasn't a problem until it was in Iowa, and it showed up on Wall Street where there are hardly any black people.
There's also a black cop who racially bullies Trey for most of the film. This was to show that black people can actually be prejudiced against their own skin colour, and it really is an eye-opener. I do find it odd that no one, authority-wise, seems to give a damn about people being shot up every week. Unfortunately, I can't rip on the movie for this because it's entirely realistic.
Shit, if you want to get away with murder, all you gotta do is shoot somebody in the head and put a demo tape in their pocket.
Little Chris, tell this fool I ain't gonna take his ball. I got enough money to buy me 100 balls.
Just not enough money to buy a shirt.
This backhand clearly doesn't hit him. Why is this dude sucking on this? Just why? Does he use a stroller as well? I also find it weird that Lawrence Fishburne up front asks his son if he's had any pussy. Who the hell asks their son if they've gotten laid? Furthermore, Cuba goes into detail about the story. Who the hell talks to their parents so openly about sex? He even claims he lost his virginity and lasted over 20 minutes.
Ha! Not possible, okay? It's not possible to last 20 minutes your first time having sex. Ask any guy. As soon as you put it in, sprinkler. Right? Not possible. Can't be done. Can't be done. 20 minutes. Ha! I'm not gonna go 20 minutes now.
It turns out he lied, but his dad doesn't even call him out on that crock.
Never thought I'd be crying in front of a female.
Who cries in front of other people? What a pussy!
I hate myself. This isn't for attention, this is to vent because I have no one else to talk to.
Hey, where'd you get that?
What you did is no different from what mothers have been doing from the beginning of time. It's just too bad more brothers won't do the same. But don't think you're special.
Oh yeah. Single mum raises a kid on her own. Praise! Praise! Father's Day comes along and everyone's like, congratulations! Well done to all the single mums who are also a father. But where's all the credit? When a dad does it, does anyone say, oh no! Oh, credit! Happy Mother's Day, father! No credit. Because men are all dicks who walk out on the kids, right?
What the hell is this guy wearing? Here, his dad asks him to rake up some leaves on the front lawn, despite other shots showing that there's no trees around their house, so where the hell did they come from?
But who cares when it has amazing lines like this?
Yeah, you act like you ain't never had no barbecue before. The ladies eat. Hoes gotta eat too.
Wait a minute, nigga. Who you calling a hoe? I ain't no hoe.
Oops. I'm sorry, bitch.
And this.
Doughboy. Got some blow, got some rock?
Get the fuck out my face.
The scene where Ricky gets gunned down is actually beautifully told. There's no audio other than the gunshots, and the slow motion really adds to the drama. It's wonderfully done, and despite some silly lines here or there and unlikely character moments, it made a huge impact in African American cinema, and it's definitely worth checking out.